just before we break for lunch, I want to invite up a couple of my colleagues on the stage, Jimmy Gunnell and Jana Ruther, who will talk a little bit about what we've been thinking and doing in terms of the GCV Institute, which is by CVCs, for CVCs, in professional development, and Jana more on the benchmarking side. As you heard from my colleague Kellyanne and also from Martin and Alex before, what we found is really that this 1,000 or more corporations who've come in to start doing their first deals in the past 15 to 18 months is very much potentially a risk of diluting the experience and the professionalism that we've seen from the corporate community built up over the past 10 or 20 years. Allied to that, we've seen this competitive risk of more money coming in from other partners and other types of venture syndicate. So even for the established experienced CVCs, winning deals and finding the right partners to work with is increasingly difficult. So how do you showcase or benchmark yourself to show to the outside world as well as internally the resources that you need and how you can do a great job? And so that's what Jimmy will start off with, to talk a bit about the Institute and how it's been developed by you all over the past 15 months. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. And I just want to add my thanks to everyone for making it here today and supporting GCV over the last sort of 18 months or so. It's fantastic to be here to talk about the GCV Institute. And this idea has really come from the work of Jim Mawson, Liz Arrington, and Heidi Mason at Bell Mason Group when they decided to write a book, the Global Corporate Venturing Survival Guide. And really what they did there was translate in-depth research into CVC industry best practices into a series of maturity frameworks and a set of design rules for the building of impactful and resilient corporate venture programs. And the key messages from the community were as follows. CVC is now a mainstream weapon in the corporate innovation arsenal and an influential player in the global innovation ecosystem. And secondly, that the bar for program professionalism has been raised, and critical to the reputation of the industry and to the impact and longevity of individual programs. So in response, we decided to launch the GCV Institute to advance industry through professional development and certification, community of best practice, and benchmarking. And it's fair to say, as Jim says, by CVCs, for CVCs, the Institute really started this year in year one with the launch of a professional development curriculum. And in response to strong industry demand to ensure that the Institute stays at the forefront of the industry best practices, our next critical initiative is the operational and performance benchmarking that Jana will talk about in a minute. It would be remiss of me not to mention here the Institute Advisory Board, and many of them have really supported us over the last sort of 12 to 18 months on this initiative, playing a foundational role as around strategy advice, participation in the pilot, and then continuing to send people through the courses, but also on acting as best practice experts in case studies, videos, panels, and as mentors in the programs. You can see here we've been developing this sort of foundational program of community-driven curriculum, and we're going to be developing that over the next 12 months as well. But it's really community-driven, differentiated, and designed to get all the parties critical to the program on sort of program impact on the same page and working together effectively. And this, again, is driven by case studies, panels, videos, resources, cohort-based live interaction, and mentored problem solving. And we've scored really highly in the feedback from participants so far. You can see here we've had over 200 people come through the Institute. We've run 10 courses, and they've come from 50 different organizations. And this is all in year one. But the point I want to really make here is that a lot of these people aren't just coming from new CVC units or those thinking about setting them up. They're actually coming from long-term resilient programs who are looking to educate their corporate parents, new people in their programs, or develop their skills internally. And again, the experts, we mentioned the Institute Advisory Board, but I also want to say that we've had a lot of people from the industry come forward and offer their time to help us and help the industry advance. So again, there's an opportunity and a shout out to everyone to say thank you, but also we're looking for more guest experts to come in and fulfill the future courses that we're doing. I wanted to also mention what really we feel distinguishes the Institute programming is our conviction that the end-to-end investing approach that integrates the investment and partnering is fundamental to both portfolio financial performance and to the delivery of the ultimate strategic impact needed to ensure corporate venture program longevity. Our flagship course here, the Landing the Value of Corporate Venturing, takes cross-functional pods through a learning journey designed to enable corporate venture teams and their parent and ecosystem partners to establish a common corporate venturing language and work together effectively to deliver the promised value. So the LVC learning journey comes in two parts, both enhanced by opportunities to engage with representatives of leading corporate venture programs. The first part is the Immerse, which is really all about CVC industry knowledge and context, and the second is about the application, learnings on your own program. So here we run a series of mentored challenges that allow pods to address real-world problems and challenges, guided by the relevant expertise and experts from other CVC units. And really that forms this kind of notion of real sort of proven outcomes that not only benefit the participant themselves, but the corporate venture program and the parents. And that's what we really think shifts the needle in many of these corporate venture programs. So I'm going to leave you now with a few sort of insights from some of the course participants. But again, I want to reiterate that the Institute's there for new programs, but it's also there for those more established programs. And we've seen 2/3 participating from more established programs. And they're really looking for fresh perspectives from smart cohort peers and insights from guest experts and other leading CVC programs. So I'm going to hand over to Jana, who's going to talk a bit more about the benchmarking initiative.
Thank you. So how do we add value actually to new and existing programs, and how do we keep CVC at the forefront? Well, that's how the CVC benchmarking initiative started. It actually started with the work of the Belmessen Group and GCV starting this book called the CVC, the Survival Guide. And there was a lot of inquiries GCV actually received. So there was this perception we received, which was that a lot of executives are really interested in corporate venturing, but there's this lack of understanding in certain areas. And this is kind of like an irony, because on one side, like we've seen today, the numbers, corporate venture capital has received its all-time high, but on the other side, there's this lack of understanding. The second fact we came across is, well, you probably have heard that question before, like, give me the numbers, show me the numbers. We need certain kind of information, especially operational ones and performance ones, to take certain decisions to get the CVC program forward. And the third one is, well, there is some bits in there of information, but there's no single source so far. So yeah, that's how we kind of realized that not just for existing programs, but also for new programs, there's so many questions coming up every now and then. So the solution is the CVC benchmarking initiative, which is, well, it has two offers. One is the CVC directory, which you can kind of see as like a CVC Facebook. It kind of leans on the CVC Survival Guide, so you have kind of profiles with the basic information on all the different CVC programs there are. For example, like when they were established, how many investments they're currently taking, what is their reporting line, etc. And then there's the CVC benchmarking platform, which is more broad and more in detail, so more aggregated data. And yeah, it's more sensitive on one side, so it will be anonymous. But there will be a lot of filters where you can go on it, or we can like draw certain reports, for example, for certain industry fields or for certain regions or CVC maturity phases. So this is quite innovative. And what I would like to ask you now is, please, like, let us know what are your current struggles, what are your current obstacles, and like what's the questions you haven't solved yet, or like what information you could need to actually get your work to make it simpler. And the first step you can do is fill out the survey, which Kellyanne introduced before, and then please reach out to me. I'm Jana Reuter. I'm currently running this initiative, and I'm doing a PhD in corporate venturing at the same time, or to Liz Erickson, who's based in the Silicon Valley. So use your time now for the lunch break and think about all the problems you probably have. There might be some, and please reach out. And thank you very much.
That's great. And yeah, so thank you very much. If you need any more information on the Institute, there's some more information by the customer service desk. And I just wanted to mention, after lunch, we're doing 2 sort of streams or breakouts. And the best practice session will be in here, in the Wren, and then the other tech session will be upstairs on the first floor in the Milton suite. So thank you very much and enjoy your lunch.